wanna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. I'll write a classic to beat them all and go down in history. I'll be the one to reach the stars, but only if you're with me tonight, 'cause that'll be the life. I'm gonna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. I'll write a classic to beat them all and go down in history. I'll be the one to reach the stars, but only if you're with me tonight, 'cause that'll be the life. 'Cause that'll be the life. 'Cause that'll be the life.
Hello again and welcome to episode 33 of Main Street Martin, part 5 of our Enchanted Princess Mediterranean cruise for June 2023. In the last episode we moved from Mykonos to the port of Piraeus in the Greek capital Athens before sailing on to the beautiful island of Santorini. This time we're in Kotor in Montenegro, one of the highlights of this cruise for us, and then we go back to Italy to the island of Sicily. Now the sail into Kotor is beautiful in itself, as the city lies at the head of Boca Bay, and the winding bay is actually southern Europe's longest and most dramatic fjord. This is an anchorage port, so our transfer to the shore was by tender, and this time one of the ship's own lifeboats. Don't forget that you can still check out all of the previous episodes, including our 2022 cruise on the Regal Princess, right here on this channel. And if you enjoy any of the videos, please make sure you click on the like button, ring the notification bell to be informed of any future videos, and if you possibly can, help the channel by subscribing. The port itself is a medieval gem overlooked by towering limestone cliffs, and we decided once again to explore the city on our own. The narrow streets of stunning ancient stone houses, old palaces and churches dating back from the 12th century, each with its own plaque outlining its history. Again, there are a number of excursions you can take, and if you want to explore beyond Kotor, the port is also a gateway to the cultural and scenic wonders of Montenegro, from the old royal capital at Cetinje to the marshes and wildlife of Lake Skadar National Park. In the past, Kotor has been ruled by Illyrians, Romans, Byzantines, Austro-Hungarians and Venetians, and these conquerors have all left many fortunes behind, like Renaissance palaces, Baroque towers and perhaps the most impressive, the Cathedral of St. Tryphon, which is more than 3 centuries older than the discovery of America. Kotor's fortifications extend right up the steep sides of St John's Hill. In fact, there are 1,350 steps to the St John's Fortress right at the very top, and I'm so glad that we made the decision to make the journey first thing in the morning before it got too hot. I'd certainly recommend that you do the same, but it's well worth the trek too, with magnificent views over the town and the bay. Now there are 3 gates at the old town that lead to the nearby towns scattered around the Bay of Kotor. Kotor also possesses the Fairy Gate, the arcing rock above the town. Legend says that only the fairy's favourites, direct descendants of the old sailors and founders of the town, can see her sitting on the rock and waiting for the golden ship on which she will set sail into the distant world, only to return and confirm that Kotor is the most beautiful town in the world. There are many myths and legends in Kotor and around it, and the old city looks like the perfect setting for many of your favourite fairy tales. The abundance of cultural and artistic monuments has set Kotor on the UNESCO's list of protected cultural heritage. In the evening, the walls of Kotor are beautifully lit, and the city is renowned for its nightlife, with the many streets of the old port lined with pubs, taverns and cafes. The city is also host to a renowned summer carnival, so look out for that if you're there in August. It's now day 12 of our cruise and we're arriving in Sicily and the port of Messina. This city has played a major role in European history since its founding as a Greek colony in the 8th century BC. During the Roman Empire, the city was a major port and commercial centre. During the Middle Ages, Messina was the major port of departure for crusaders. History has also left its scars. A massive earthquake levelled much of the city in 1908, and the World War II campaign for Sicily devastated Messina. Yet the city emerged from that devastation with some of its historic treasures intact, including the 12th century Annunziata dei Catalani church. Messina is also your gateway to the rugged beauty of southeast Sicily, from the seaside resort of Taormina to Mount Etna. Now it's quite a trek, but well worth it if you visit the Sacrario di Cristo Re, the Shrine of Christ the King. It's an imposing tomb built in 1937 to house the remains of those who died in the 2 world wars. The Baroque architecture was inspired by the Basilica di Superga, designed by the Messina architect Filippo Guevara. Inside the shrine there's a monument to the unknown soldier, created by Antonio Bonfiglio. On the walls are the gravestones of 110 fallen soldiers from the First World War and 1,288 fallen soldiers from the Second World War, of which 161 remain unknown. Most of the victims lost their lives in the 1943 defence of Sicily. Another plaque commemorates the 21 sailors who died in the naval battle of Punto Stilo on the 9th of July 1940. From outside the building you get one of the best views of the Strait of Messina. This 600 square metre site is in an area of the city where the castle of Rocca-Guelfonia once stood, a castle which once hosted Richard the Lionheart and his men on their way to the Holy Land during the Third Crusade. between the fall of Rome and the 1861 unification of Italy, the Arabs, the Normans, the Germans, the Spanish and the French have all ruled Sicily. And so there is history everywhere, and we certainly enjoyed exploring just Messina, although there's much more to see around the rest of the island. Now join me next time when, following a day in Naples and a day at sea, we reach our final port at the end of our cruise in Barcelona. But in the meantime, take a look at the other videos on this channel featuring this and other Mediterranean cruises, plus our visits to eco parks and theme parks in Mexico, the United States and Europe. You'll also find city breaks in the UK and Europe, as well as other short breaks providing top tips, hints and ideas. As always, if you enjoy any of the videos, you can really help the channel by clicking on the like button, ringing the notification bell and subscribing. There is much more to come in the next part of our 14-day Mediterranean cruise on the Enchanted Princess, so make sure you join me for episode 34 of Main Street Martin.
I'm gonna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. I'll write a classic to beat them all and go down in history. I'll be the one to reach the stars, but only if you're with me tonight, 'cause that'll be